Welcome to the best outdoors program just off the shores of the mighty Red River. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, the heart and soul of all things related to God's great outdoors. Starring Gary McCoy, an all-around outdoorsman with a CMA Award for Best Personality in Radio. A man who excels in the radio world and needs no introduction to the outdoors, whether standing tall in the winner's circle or sitting low in the deer stand. Mike Eccles, the boss tournament trail director and outstanding duck hunting guide with a wealth of outdoors knowledge who's not afraid to give his opinion with or without the facts. His years of bass tournament experience ensures that rules are followed and anglers are kept in check. And last but not least, Daiwa and Ranger Pro Steve Graff, a member of the Northwestern State University Hall of Fame with years of bass tournament experience who continues his pursuit of a double-digit bass and championship stringers. So let's jump on the front deck and make that first cast with the legendary minds of the great outdoors. Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the one and only Steve Graff. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, hooking up and tracking down. AM 1130, it's KWKH, Gary and Graff. And,
that's me.
And no Eccles today.
No Eccles today. The new year, we kick it off right.
Yeah, the first show of 2018. And so today, our third leg is going to be Little Jaybird.
Yep.
Little Topwater is going to. So we need a duck hunting report.
Okay, I can handle that.
You know, that's what Eccles was supposed to do right here. So let us know about the ducks.
They're out there. Just get out there and get them.
Yeah,
I heard they were real easy to get yesterday on the East Kings Highway duck pond.
Yeah,
it was frozen.
Yeah, so super easy.
They were just sliding across.
I always wanted to see that.
I'd pay money
to see that. That's me. I'd pay money.
Hey, this part of the show is brought to you by Steve Nichols, Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters, Despino, Jim South Tire, and Lake Fork Guide Johnny Geis. To book your next fishing adventure, contact Lake Fork Guide Johnny Geis or go to lakeforkbigfish.com. Speaking of Johnny, he's going to be on the show today.
Yep, we got Johnny coming on today and give us a Lake Fork. He'll give us a duck hunting report. He's been doing a lot of duck hunting.
Well, you know what now? We do have a little bit of a duck hunting report because the reason why Mike's not here is he said, with 3 blinds that he's got on Lake Bistineau, he said Lake Bistineau is on the rise hard, and he's starting to lose duck decoys right now.
I asked Randy Fair a while ago, where does water come from?
That's a great question. I don't know if it's because maybe there was some ice, or
had to
snow.
Be Arkansas.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Wow.
So long and short, if you've got a blind or you've got decoys that are still out on Bistineau, you might need to be doing a little hustling yourself because Eccles said, hey, this is something I got to get handled right now. And you know what? Because of the threat of the cold weather, I went ahead and brought my camper home from the deer camp last weekend.
Yeah.
I went down there and got to hang out. Jordan and the Dukes and all of them, they all we had one final steak night last Friday night, and but I said, with this hard, bad weather coming in, your phone's talking to you.
My phone loves talking to me. We have a relationship.
But with this bad weather coming in, I was like, I do not want to deal with water issues.
Exactly.
And if you got a deer camp somewhere and you haven't been in a few weeks, maybe the last time you went was right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And you didn't shut the water off.
Yeah. If you got exposed pipes outside.
No.
Oh, by the way, if all you duck hunters out there, if you're looking for your decoys, I know a buddy of mine who knows a buddy of mine who will sell your decoys back to you as he picks them up on Bistineau. So for a nominal fee.
That wouldn't be Eccles, would it?
No, I'm not gonna call names, but
hey, on a different note, I hate to flip the script this way.
Yeah.
But on a terrible note, we started getting the text messages Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That we lost one of the great ones. Dr. Tommy Brown passed away, 61 years old.
Yeah.
We lost him Saturday. He was the owner of Heartland 1010, Arklatex Cardiology. He's been a cardiologist around here for like 35 years. And one of my favorite stories that Tommy would tell was how terrible of a job he had when he was putting himself through college. He was a guide on Toledo Bend. He lived in Converse.
I didn't know that.
He was a guide on Toledo Bend
Really?
in its heyday.
Oh, wow.
So it was a terrible job.
Well, he grew up in Converse.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awful job. He had to carry people out and catch, stringers of 6 and 7 pound bass,
Exactly.
and then get up and do it all over again the next day. Don't you know he just hated life
What
back
a life,
then?
yeah.
But if you,
Now, was it heart failure? Do you know?
I know it was some type of heart disease,
Yeah.
and I know that he had spent the last 2 or 3 weeks at Baylor.
Yeah.
And, at one point, I want to say it was Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
we had gotten a good report
Yeah, he
from
rebounded.
Mike. Mike said, hey, things are looking up.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine. And by Saturday morning, Mike texted me. Mark Welburn texted me. I got a text from Pete.
Yeah.
That it had not ended the way we wanted it to.
So many times, Gary, patients will do that. Not so much in Tommy's age bracket because he wasn't that old, but like in my mom's in the 80s, 80s age bracket up to the 90s, people will make a quick recovery, and then they bottom back out again real hard.
Well, the way it was related to me was that does happen way more than it doesn't.
Right.
And it's like when an engine is running out of gas.
Yeah.
Right before it runs out of gas, it runs better than it's
Accelerates,
ever run before.
Yeah.
And
like a light bulb.
Yeah, the RPMs just jump, way off the chart.
Right.
And then it's out of gas. And if you were a fan of Tommy's like we were, there'll be a visitation for him this evening, 4 until 8, at Osborne Funeral Home, Southern Avenue in Shreveport. Funeral services and a celebration of his life, 10 a.m. tomorrow at First United Methodist Church at the head of Texas Street. Dr. Pat Day is going to officiate that. I love
no burial.
Pat Day.
That's what I hear.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. No burial.
But Mike will be one of the pallbearers.
Oh, really?
Along with John Black and several other guys, and good people, and those were the type of people that Tommy surrounded himself with.
Yeah.
So, brother, we will miss you, and we will see you again.
Yep, one day.
Well, he'll be.
Mike might not, but me and you will.
You heard that, huh, Jay Vern?
Yeah, that was a good one there. I like that one.
Hey, listen, we got to remind you about the Bass Cash Bash. You talked to PD this morning?
Yeah, I did. Man, you know where PD's at?
PD Vincent is where?
As we speak, he was in line for Tower of Terror at Disney World.
Really?
Yeah, I called him. I said, hey, dude, you got about 10 minutes this morning you can give us? He said, well, yeah, I can give you 10 minutes. He said, I said, well, where you at? He said, I'm over here in Orlando. I said, well, they came for the LSU game. And he had some extra days off, and they decided to stay over as a family, and they went to Disney World and doing the Disney thing. And they ended up staying for 2 more extra days at Disney, today being one of those days. And he said, yeah, we just left Magic Kingdom. We're headed for Hollywood. We're just getting in line for Tower of Terror. I said, okay, dude. But anyway, I canceled him out. I said, look, you enjoy your vacation. Me and Gary will talk about the cash. This is the week, Gary. It started.
Bass Cash Bash, wide open now on Sam Rayburn.
Yep.
If you have not spent the $50 to get registered, $400,000 up for grabs on Sam Rayburn. I can't remember exactly how many tagged fish there were. But when you catch one of those tagged fish, if you have not registered, you have just become that guy. And rest assured, I know personally how that feels.
Yep, Gary's been that guy. 202 tagged fish on Rayburn.
Okay, so I'm thinking, in all likelihood, because this phase of it, the Sam Rayburn phase, goes through what date?
This goes through April the 30th.
Okay,
so
I'm thinking on a lake like Rayburn, with the fish biting like they've been biting.
Oh, dude.
I would bet you that over 150 of those fish are caught.
Well, supposedly there's 3 tournaments in the next 2 weeks at Rayburn. So it's already, tournament season is kicked off at Rayburn, full-fledged.
Tell me this. If you were fishing, like one of the Costa Series that you fish, if you caught a tagged fish in that, would they let you keep that fish after you waded into the tournament? No?
Oh, after you waited? Well, all you need is the tag.
Oh, that's right. You just cut the tag off.
Cut the tag off.
Okay.
Take the tag with you, yeah. Now,
you'd want to leave the tag on. It might weigh like a millionth of an ounce.
Exactly.
But you want to leave it on there because you caught it with it on there.
My first question used to be, would you cull that fish? But since you can take the tag out, it doesn't really matter. You
Yeah,
can still
yeah,
cull him.
yeah.
So, but
Okay.
anyway,
I wouldn't have thought about that. Yeah,
I know.
How much would it be worth
Oh, dude.
to keep a fish that maybe was only a couple of pounds
Yeah.
when you're working on a 5 pound average?
Yeah, bird in the hand. That's $1,000. You know.
And you've got our groove fishing tackle question of the day.
Yeah, and by the way, check out groovefishing.com and for the latest
And that's GRUV,
GRUV, that's right.
fishing.com.
Fishing.com for the latest innovation in tackle storage. Here's our question. We talked about this right before we went off there last year in 2017 on our last show, and kind of had me thinking. You and Mike got me to thinking. What year was the Bassmaster Classic moved from late summer, early fall to late winter, early spring? In what body of water?
Okay, so the question, what year was the first one moved to the early spring?
When did they move
or what
it?
year was the last one in the fall?
What was the first year they moved it to the spring?
I swear I think that was Red River. I think that was the first year.
And you thought it was, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
No, it was gosh.
Was that 010?
It was the first year. All right, help me out here, Jay.
All right, I'm ready.
It was Zach Brown was brand new in Nashville because Zach Brown came and played.
Oh, man.
ESPN owned Bassmaster then.
That was after the 10, though, wasn't it? 2010?
And Bassmaster, Zach Brown played here at the CenturyLink Center. They didn't have a major release yet.
Oh, really?
But they played Chicken Fried.
Yeah, I remember that.
They played that there.
I was there.
And everybody knew that Zach Brown was going to be
Big.
Yeah. So what year are you thinking?
2008?
Okay, 2008.
2008?
I'll say 2008.
Yeah, 2006.
2006.
2006 at Lake Toho is where they moved the tournament to.
So what year was the Red River tournament?
That must have been probably 2 or 3 years later.
Okay, so that would have been about 2008.
Yep, probably right.
Lake Toho was the first one that they did.
In 2006.
Wow.
That's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought, God, because Mike thought, like, oh, it ain't been but 5 or 6 years.
Well, the classic
No.
this year is where?
Hartwell.
Hartwell.
Yeah, I had to
That's
think.
Georgia, isn't it?
Yeah, Lake
Okay.
Hartwell. No, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're fishing North Carolina,
Yeah.
which obviously isn't going to be as warm as well, I don't know.
No.
It was 50-something degrees this morning in Anchorage.
Are you
We were
kidding me?
colder here.
No,
than
come on.
Yes. We were.
That had to be an indoor temperature.
No, I talked to a lady whose mother lives in Alaska.
Really?
Earlier this morning, she said at her mother's house it was 50 degrees. Now I say Anchorage. I think that's what she told me. But in Alaska, it was 50. It was colder here than in Alaska.
Good gosh, man.
So here's my question:
That's crazy.
when you go to like North Carolina, and they're calling it early spring, that's not really early spring. Isn't it late February? What date? What's the date of the classic?
Late February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I would
not
say-
early spring.
No, that's late winter to
Yeah.
me. You know.
You
For
know,
us, a lot of times our winters don't hit till February.
exactly.
It's hit now, though.
Yeah.
Tell you
Anyway,
that.
when you think about that, I mean, is the potential for those fish? I've always believed that winter fish stack up better than even summer fish do. They certainly stack up better than spawning fish.
Well, yeah, especially the females. They're staging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that will help the size, the bags that come in, because it's likely going to be cooler there than normal?
Well, I'm trying to think of his name. Casey Ashley won.
Yeah.
That was his home lake.
Yeah.
And he predicted that it will fish differently this time because of the cold weather than what it was when he was there before. Now, it got cold, I think, as that tournament went on.
Yeah.
And I think it helped him. I think it made the fish group up even better for him. And he was doing that underspin. It's like a spinnerbait, but the spinner's underneath the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's called an underspinner.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like a Roadrunner.
yeah, and he had a paddle tail on the back end.
Well,
of
the
it.
Roadrunner spinner's on top.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what he was throwing. It's a homemade bait. His dad made them for him, gave them to him, put them in a baggie, and say, here's your baits. And that's what he wanted on.
I'll be done.
That's got to be cool. You know it.
When your dad
When your
hands you
dad
the winning
made
bait.
you the winning baits, and you just go out there and throw them and catch it.
All right, sit tight. Elite Series Pro Boyd Duckett. Have we ever had him on the show before?
We had him on one time, I think, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, Boyd Duckett is going to be on the show today, 12 noon, straight up 12 noon. And here in just a minute, we got some outdoor outlaws for you. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 Tiger.
Every girl crazy about a shirtless man.
The Hook It Up and Tracking Down Show would like to thank you, our listeners, and these fine sponsors: Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, V&M Baits, Commercial Power Equipment, and Toledo Town and Tackle, stocking anything and everything a fisherman needs for a great day on Toledo Bend, and still the largest tackle box on the Bend. Now here's Gary and Steve. No Mike today, no Mike.
So you're going to be Mike all day?
Yeah, I'm Mike.
Okay.
Well, hang
Blow
on.
a
No,
duck
no,
call
no.
for me
Leah.
real quick. Come on.
Well, what do you want me to do?
I want you to blow a duck call.
How's that? That's Grill Master J to you.
Hey.
You know, don't forget it.
Are you a grill man?
Oh,
yeah, I'm a
dude.
grill man now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Did you get one for Christmas?
No, I just bought one the other day. I went grilling when I went camping. I fell in love with it.
Would you put boudin on there?
I put anything on there.
Would you put Bellevue's sausage?
Oh my goodness, I do
On
it.
there.
I do it. I'd leave the show right now to go do it.
Another thing too. He is no longer a bass fishing virgin.
No.
Yeah.
You saw he caught one.
He caught a fish.
Well, what I heard was he beat up his little girl and took her fish away from her.
Hey, as long as the picture's on Facebook and it shows me holding that fish,
It looks like you, man.
and
to
I
me.
held it up really close, you know, to the camera.
Right, make it look bigger.
Absolutely.
His little daughter's crying in the background because
Yeah.
Daddy took her fish.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Here's
that
my
way.
fish now, daughter.
Oh Lord.
Her fish are the ones that you can just see flipping around in the water.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I got to remind you about Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters. Steve Nichols and the gang there
Right.
work year long to put together the most elite opportunities for anybody, whether you want to shoot an antelope or you
Yeah.
want to shoot a mule deer.
Pick your big game.
You want to shoot an elk.
Yeah.
If you want to hunt in New Mexico, if you want to hunt in Colorado, they've got some special
Alaska?
cow hunts in Colorado if you want to get in on that. They've
Really?
done that in the past. But they've also got these copper
We're not
mines.
talking livestock, folks. We're talking.
Yeah, cow elks.
Yeah, elks.
If you want to go to these copper mines in Idaho, last year ought to speak for itself.
Yeah.
They had 100% take. Every one of their hunters was harvested an animal.
Yeah.
And every one of those animals went into Boone and Crockett.
Exactly.
How do you beat that?
You don't. I mean, there's nothing to top that.
So if you're looking for the hunt of a lifetime, check out bucksandbulls.com. That's Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters. And Steve Nichols, we love you. Happy New Year.
Yep.
Thank you for letting us ride your coattails. And anytime that you want to just give away one of these great trips, we will have a 3-way arm wrestling match between Graff and me and Eccles.
Well, all 3 go. All right.
Some
Jay,
outdoor outlaws.
Cue the music, Jay. There you go. All right, LDWF agents arrested a local man. Hunter Vaughn, 20 of Benton, cited his 16-year-old passenger for possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia, hunting without a basic and big game hunting licenses, hunting deer with artificial light during illegal hours, and hunting from a public roadway. Vaughn was also cited for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Agents were patrolling public roads near Plain Dealing around 9 p.m. when they observed Vaughn operating a vehicle and spotlighting the ditches. What would he be looking for, Gary?
They were looking for. They had a 17 caliber rifle. They were either looking for rabbits or deer.
Yeah,
or
they were varmint
raccoons,
hunting. Yeah,
whatever.
Varmint hunting. And ditches and fields on the sides of the road. Agents stopped the vehicle and found Vaughn and the 16-year-old in possession of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, 17 caliber rifle, and a spotlight. During the questioning, the two subjects admitted to activity trying to hunt deer at night using the spotlight from a public road. Agents booked Vaughn in Bossier Parish Jail. Agents seized the marijuana and drug paraphernalia, rifle, spotlight. Possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia brings a fine up to $500 and 6 months in jail. Contributing to the delinquency of a minor carries a $500 fine and up to 6 months in jail as well.
You know it's going to be a really long night when the game warden taps on your truck window while you've got the spotlight out, and you have to say, "Hold on just a minute, I'll hand you my license." You know it's going to be a long night, and it just keeps getting longer.
Yeah, it gets better.
And that judge just has so much to say. Agents cited Zachary Nolan, 28 years old, for hunting without a non-resident basic and big game hunting license, failing to comply with deer tagging requirements, taking deer during illegal hours with artificial light, taking over the daily limit of deer, and taking resident basic and big game, and taking over the,
seasonal limit as well.
Yeah, agents also cited Stacy Yates, 32, for hunting without basic, resident, and big game hunting licenses, failing to comply with deer tagging requirements. Agents responded to information that Nolan had killed 2 deer without tagging them in the Marouge area. Agents discovered that Nolan did not possess the proper hunting licenses and was not a bona fide Louisiana resident.
Uh-oh.
Agents then viewed Nolan's social media page and discovered several harvested deer by Nolan and numerous pictures and videos of him hunting.
People just can't help themselves, Gary.
I'm gonna I'm this stupid.
They can't
I am
help
this stupid.
They can't help it.
After obtaining a search warrant for Nolan's residence, agents searched the property, discovered 4 racks of deer antlers that were taken within the last 2 weeks. Agents seized the antlers and a Marlin 30-30 rifle. Good choice on the rifles, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good one for back in the day.
That's
wasn't it?
old school.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
At any rate, he also admitted to harvesting 2 bucks on December 2nd, including one of them during illegal hours. But how do they get them to own up to that stuff?
I don't know.
I mean, what's that line of questioning like?
Well, I guess once you're in so deep, you just, what the heck? I'll just tell them everything. I don't know if they got truth serum they give them or what. God, who they ever see?
At some point when you've put it on Facebook, now would be a really good time to shut up.
Yeah, and you can't get your kids to admit the
No,
thing. I mean, they'll go to their grave with things.
Who took my Twinkie? Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I mean, they will go to their grave.
I'm telling you.
I don't know how that happened.
No, I don't either.
Any rate, the 2 bucks in one day put him 1 over the legal daily antlered limit, and the 5 bucks in one season put him 2 over the seasonal antlered limit. Stacy Yates confessed to deer hunting without possession of the proper hunting licenses or tags.
Well, you do bring up a good question there. How do they get these guys to confess?
They just admitted to it. But no, shut up.
If they act like this is going to go easier on them, they're still going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I was hunting, but that was a video from me hunting in 1979 in the Boggy Creek Bottoms in Falk, Arkansas.
Exactly.
It wasn't here.
Oh, God. Let's go over to Texas. October 12th, Johnson County game warden received a call from a landowner complaining of dove hunters peppering his barn with birdshot. Upon arriving in the area, he was able to track the shots to a group of dove hunters in the backyard. who were positioned around a small tank. That's a pond, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it a tank. In Texas, they call it tanks. During the contact, the warden noticed some of the hunters had near limits of doves, which was suspicious given there were nearly no birds flying in the area. A closer inspection revealed Milo spread along the water's edge in clear violation of a law prohibiting the baiting of migratory game birds for hunting. Multiple citations were issued for hunting migratory birds over bait and unplugged shotguns as well. So they really 36 mourning doves were seized and donated. So, but anyway,
would you say that you agree or disagree? Eccles believes that dove hunting is over regulated, over policed.
I would agree with it. You've hunted enough dove, you know.
But at what point will they make it so difficult that you just quit? That people quit dove hunting? I know a lot of people that truly enjoy the camaraderie and the fellowship of going out there and enjoying the great meal before the dove hunt.
Right.
But they don't even bring a gun.
Don't you think the timing of dove season is the most critical factor to people because it gets them out of the summer?
Oh,
it gets them in the hunting
that
mode.
starts season.
Yeah, it's the start of the season. So
right.
if it was cranking up now,
yeah,
you wouldn't have near the violations part because ain't nobody gonna be out there. They'll be deer hunting.
So
or duck hunting.
When it comes right down to it, I mean these are federal laws.
Yeah.
Who do you contact, federally to see about making some changes, modifications to that?
I would think you'd have to go through your state representative first and get him on board.
Okay, gotcha.
Wouldn't you think?
Well, I would assume that they would have a voice when it comes to that.
Right. I would think
and
so.
you know what? We have a lot of congressmen and senators that love to bird hunt.
Oh.
Ryan Gaddy loves to duck hunt, bird hunt.
Bunch of them been busted.
Yeah. And there's judges.
Let's just say, call it what it is.
Get in trouble for it as well. Okay, well, listen, I just want to remind you that Boyd Duckett is coming up on the show straight up 12 noon today. Another one of the things that I want us to hit on is membership in the NRA.
Yeah.
I want to get to that here at about 12:45.
Okay.
If we got a minute. Because
it's not an anti-deal, is it?
No, not at all, not at all.
I can't see you doing that.
No. But I do want, I want people to consider what's on the table federally. Since we were talking about the doves, right. What's on the table federally all the time in regards to guns, gun ownership? There's a big issue with these bump stocks. There's a number of things that people feel like, well, I like the NRA, but I don't think that anybody needs this kind of a rifle, or I don't think anybody needs a bump stock.
Right.
So there's some things that, that I think need to be considered. And a part of Nashville is now involved with this.
Right.
They've asked Brantley Gilbert why he is not being has not got a true relationship, a sponsor relationship with the NRA country movement that's going on.
Right. Now, the bump stock. Let's back up to that real quick.
Yeah.
Isn't that converts a gun from a semi-automatic to
an automatic, essentially. It's still a semi-automatic, but because of this...
More rapid fire
exactly.
can occur with a bump
because
stock.
of this addition, it will make it shoot quicker than you could.
Your quick opinion. Need them or don't need them? Should it be outlawed?
I'm going to put it to you like this. I'm going to ask you one question.
All right.
Do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Yes.
You're a Christian?
Yes.
Do you believe that someone else has a right to believe in Muhammad?
Yes.
So if you are a true believer in religious freedom, then you believe that all forms of religion should be available, right?
Yes.
Okay. I believe
not that I agree with them.
I personally
entitled.
Don't have a need for a bump stock.
Right. Me neither.
But if I'm going to believe in the rights to own a weapon, I have to equally believe that there are the rights of those to own a bump stock or one of the
accessories that go with it.
Exactly.
Right.
I have to buy
Silencer.
in. I have to buy in 100%. But that's not the problem. Not one bump stock has ever killed a human being.
Right. That's right.
And by adding additional legislation to the whole deal, you're not solving the problem.
Right.
The number one problem is taking guns away from criminals.
Right.
And until you enforce that, you've not fixed the problem.
And just the fact that you outlaw bump stocks doesn't stop somebody from getting their hands on them.
And it doesn't
if somebody
stop
wants to
somebody
get
else
their
from
hands
coming up with something else that's
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
as lethal,
Right.
if you will.
Right.
So we'll talk about that about 12:45. But don't forget, Boyd Duckett here at 12 noon. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Are you looking for some great fishing or cooking tips? Check out our website, HUTDshow.com. It's loaded with video tips that's sure to make you a better cook and fisherman. This segment presented by K2 Coolers, Nichols Department Stores, Groove Fishing, and Lake Fork Marina. Spring fishing is just around the corner, and Lake Fork Marina is taking reservations now. To reserve your cabin or hotel room, go to lakeforkmarina.com. Now back to the best perch jerkers around. It's a tough one. Steve and Gary.
Say that real slow, Jay.
Perch jerkers. Do I have to hit the delay on that?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right.
I knew it might give Jay a little problem. That's why I put it in there.
He
Perch
blushed.
jerkers.
He blushed saying perch jerker. Remember, there used to be a crappie club around that was called the
Yeah,
Perch Jerkers.
That's right.
My grandma listens to this show.
There
Your
you go.
grandmother?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Kay Haley.
What do you call her?
Nana.
Hey, Nana.
What's up, Nana?
Yeah, that's right. Nana and Pop. They listen every Wednesday.
Hey.
They didn't think I had a job for the last 10 years.
Well, your grandson does
So
a
I
great
started
job,
here.
Nana. He does a great job.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of great things, barbecue. How about some fall off the bone ribs from Silver Star Smokehouse? Best steaks in Shreveport. Bossier. Well, I've never had a steak there, Gary.
Oh, my God.
Every
And
time I go.
You know, David and I are buds.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this morning.
I wonder if I'm a bud. Am I a
will-
bud with David?
Well, sure you are.
Am I a bud?
He will not tell you what they do to that steak. It's marinated in heaven.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's a little.
And they ship it down.
There's angel wings laying there on it.
It just floats down.
I'm just telling you, it's
I need
unreal.
to try the steak then. I ain't done it. I always go there. When me and you might go there.
Yeah.
I always get the chopped beef sandwich. Of all things, I get chopped beef sandwich and a couple of ribs.
What do I order every time?
I don't know.
The steak salad.
Oh, that's right. You do get
I
steak
get the steak salad because it's that
the
steak
steak.
just in a salad. Dude,
Wow. You are.
it will make you hurt
But
yourself.
they got 3 great locations now. West Park Boulevard in Texarkana, Ellaby Road in Shreveport, I ate over there not too long ago, right before Christmas. I ate at Ellaby Road. Great location, beautiful site. Dixie Overland Road, the original location right there in Bossier City. And so check it out. Owner David Alice and his great staff invite you to try the best barbecue west of the Mississippi, and that's no lie. So go to silverstarsmokehouse.com to learn more.
On the phone with us, it's been almost a year now. Lake Fork guy Johnny Geis finally got out of the duck blind.
Yeah, longer than that, it seems like.
And has decided to go back to fishing. Are we catching any fish, Johnny?
Woo, it's too cold to fish over here on Lake Fork today.
It is cold, isn't it?
Is that wind out of the north?
18 degrees, wind out of the north, and all the ponds surrounding the lake are covered in ice. So it's a great time to be on Lake Fork.
Hey, man.
Good day for a burger.
That's right. But it's going to be a good season. Looking forward to it.
Well, tell me now, how did you finish up the year? Because you were wrapping things up around September, weren't you?
Yeah, I kind of knocked off a lot this fall. I did a lot of hunting and just got away from it a little bit. Fork got to fishing a little bit tough and took a good long break. Started in the deer season, got a couple deer in the freezer, and then got into shooting some ducks. And I'm packing up as we speak to head to Oklahoma in the morning to go hunt at Tyler Catula's place again. We're going to do some duck and goose hunting tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
One question I got for you, Johnny, is I know Mike has been on a couple of trips with you. Do you have any dirt that you can share with our audience as to things that
on Eccles?
On Eccles, not on us, on Eccles.
Only thing I know about him is when he gets a bird in the blind with it, we're going to be damn sure he's dead this next time.
Yeah, we heard about his bird incident.
We're not having another wild crane in the blind.
He was disappointed in your lack of help, though. I can tell you that.
So, if somebody were ballsy enough to head to Lake Fork, here in the next couple of days, with it being this cold, does the cold weather on Fork stack the big fish up like it does the smaller fish this time of the year?
I tell you, Fork fish is real tough, to be honest with you, in January, especially in the water right now. We're in the mid-40s, so it's dropped right on down there with these cold days. But it's one of the best crappie lakes around, and that's what you'll find most people focusing on right now, some giant slabs, and go out and fish under the bridges, and there's some big bass that are robbing the crappie when you come up by bridge piling, so you can always have a chance to catch the largest fish you ever seen doing that. But I'll start thumping the stick on the boat, catching a bunch of giant white bass. So good time for catching, but the black bass are a little lethargic, and they'll show up around February 1st. So.
Yeah. Now, Johnny, when it comes to the crappie fishing this time of the year, I can't remember. There is no size limit right now, but you have to keep, the first 25 you catch?
Yeah, starting December 1st, the first 25 you have to put in the boat, and that's so you don't throw a lot of small fish back that were caught so deep that they can't survive. So they put that rule in every year. I don't know if we really need that anymore, but it's still in there. So, but the good news is, if you're going to catch 25 today, you might have a few that's too small, but most of them are going to be well over the 10-inch minimum.
So when somebody is doing that, out there, I mean, obviously it's a lot better if they've got, they've taken a guide trip with you or one of the other crappie guides there on the lake or something along those lines, fishing some, baited brush tops and stuff like that. But just an average pilgrim that was going to be going out there, do you just pick a good deep spot out in front of the dam and start watching the graph, or what would you do? What kind of advice would you give to that regular weekend warrior?
All he's got to do is pull up to the ramp, look back towards the dam, and do the bent pole pattern. And when he sees about 30, 40 boats all ganged up off a point, that's a good place to start there.
The bent pole pattern.
The bent pole pattern. So you drive by and somebody's reeling one in, start there.
Johnny, we're getting a lot of requests. I know I've had a lot of questions on Facebook and personal messages sent to me asking about, when they knew you were coming on today, about the crappie fishing on Lake Fork in terms of what jigs, shiners, tipping jigs with shiners, what seems to be the best technique?
Really both. I mean, you'll have guys that are strictly jig fishermen, some that do a little bit of each, and then you just got the shiner guys, and it's pretty much just whatever you like to do the best. You can catch fish on all of them. With this cold water temperature, we're probably going to have a shad die-off that we haven't had in several years, and I think we'll see a lot of shad starting to fall off. So little jigging spoons will catch some giant crappie here. Just little small cotton cordell type jigging spoons. Get, bass and crappie with those. So
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. I'd like to fish the jig better than the live minnow, but if you can catch some 2-pound slabs, whatever it takes, man.
I bet the white bass is freaking crazy.
Now, with those white bass, when you start having that shad die off like that, does that just turn them on like crazy or what?
Oh, man, it does. In fact, just cold weather does. The shad get really stacked down on the bottom of the reservoir in that bottom, 10 foot of the deep water down there, and I can go catch some fish and suspended in 60, 70 foot of water. They'll be down about 28 or 30 foot, and you just get right above that water shad and hold your bait real still. You don't move it, and a little 4-inch sassy shad type bait on a good heavy head, and you catch a ton of these big old white bass right now. That's probably one of the most fun things that I'm doing is getting the stick, beating on the boat, tracking the fish to the boat, and reeling them up. And last time I went, I caught a 6-pound bass, one of the last fish I caught that day. So it was out there doing the same thing.
Johnny, you using light line on that 8-10-pound test still?
I do. In fact, I use 6-pound line just because it's more fun to get them in that way.
Right, right.
I do pass out some 10-pound to customers on casting rods, but I like to fish light action spinning rod and ultralight tackle and hold it real still, and you just get a lot of bites. I mean, there's constantly something pecking on your line, and you'll think it's something small and miss it a couple times. You hold it still and it'll peck again. It'll turn out to be a 1.5 pound, big old sand bass.
Let's move a little closer to Mount Pleasant, Texas. Let's go to Monticello, where there's no longer generating power over there. They're shutting that plant completely down, Johnny.
They're shutting it down this week, and it'll be just like another reservoir as far as the water temperature.
I'm hearing mixed feelings from anglers. Some of them say it'll make the lake even better. It'll be more consistent. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, it's a great lake. I love that lake, and also Lake Welsh, where they are doing some power generation now, but. What'll happen is I don't think the first year it'll affect it too much. Probably by next spring they'll be back to just normal spawning pattern. They haven't been running that temperature high the last few years anyway, so the bass still spawned all the way through to April on that lake as well. So depends on what they do with it. I mean, the power company owns that lake, and I don't know what'll happen to it. So we've heard all kind of rumors, but hopefully it'll just turn out to be another good old East Texas fishing lake, and something we're still going to plan to go to a lot.
They're not looking to shut it down, are they, completely?
Well, I haven't heard. Somebody said they're going to shut it down and drain it. We know that's a rumor. And then they were going to open the dam, clean that, small salmon, another rumor. They can't do that because the elevation's too different. I can't imagine it won't be much different to it. It'll just probably be managed by Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Yeah.
Just the ownership of it and the liability of it is something we hadn't really heard exactly what's going to be the verdict on it yet.
Right.
Now, you guide on Lake Fork, Monticello. I mean, I believe if somebody really wanted to go, I mean, you'd go anywhere.
Cooper.
Yeah, especially somebody from Shreveport. We need to go to Lake Welsh. That's probably one of the best little kept secrets around.
Yep.
It's right out of Dangerfield from you guys towards Pittsburgh, Texas, and an hour and a half from Shreveport, a little over an hour from me, and it's a 30 to 50 fish day trip just about any day you want to go this time of year. And they're just chunky little 2 to 5, 6 pound bass, so it's a fun lake to fish.
Lots of grass.
A lot of beautiful hydrilla. The lake's real clear, and it's a small lake one route, but never seems to be too crowded during the week. On the weekends, they got a lot of local tournaments to do it, but it's just got a real good population of bass, and they like to bite over there.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying trips over there lately.
Now, if you're headed to, let's say, Lake Welsh, if you're headed there, you throwing a jig, you throwing a rattle trap, throwing a spinnerbait. What are you throwing this time of the year?
It's changed a little bit. I was catching them on a little swim bait, and that seems to be what I think will be best right now. Maybe an underspin, like we were talking about a while ago, that Casey Ashley fishes. I was pitching hydrilla with 6 pound line and a Ned rig on that lake, catching a ton of fish. I mean, you just don't imagine vertical fishing deep hydrilla. I'm talking about 12, 14 foot of hydrilla with the Ned rig, which is a little 16th of an ounce cigar type little bait. But they were eating that thing up. And drop shots real good in the deep hydrilla. But if you want to power up and put the ounce and a half that weight on and do a big crawl or jig, they'll bite that too.
What's the as far as I want to circle back around to the white bass. What's the best way you've seen to eat white bass? I don't know how many of your customers will actually keep a limit of those, but I know that you guys catch a ton of them. Are they? Is it something that you would eat yourself?
I really believe if I had a pile of fish all fried up and the beer was real cold, you'd throw them in there. You'd never know whether you had it or crappie. They're a kind of like a saltwater fish. They have the lateral line that has a little bit of red meat in it, but it's pretty easy to trim that out. And the biggest thing about sand bass, or the reason I don't think they get a good name on table fare sometimes, is people try to catch too many and freeze them and then trying to cook them 6 months or a year later. They're a lot better if you cook them fresh than they are once you freeze them. And I'd say that about all fish, but especially the white bass.
All right, Johnny, if somebody's wanting to get in the boat with you, I assume that it's that time of the year for Johnny Geis. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm starting to book up, and I'm really wanting to have a real good February, March. I got a couple ideas on catching some big fish on live bait up in some creeks, and good time to call me. It's 972-800-3882. Area code's 972-800-3882. My goal when you get in the boat is to catch the biggest fish you ever got. So I'll find out what the personal bests are, and that's what our target is for that day.
Hey, Graf can
If
test.
you got one over 13 pounds, don't call me.
I can attest to that. I caught my biggest fish with Johnny. First thing I told him, I want to catch the biggest fish I ever caught. He said, no problem.
Was that the first
fish I caught?
Yeah.
It's downhill after that.
Oh, it was terrible. All the 6s and 7s just didn't count anymore.
I'm telling you, we caught 35.
You get over 8 pounds, it gets a little tougher, but give me 2 or 3 days, we'll get it on up to 9.5, 10 pounds.
There you go. Check him out on Facebook, LakeForkBigFish.com, his website, or give him a holler. Johnny Geis, thank you, brother, and we're looking forward to 2018, man.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Johnny.
Bye.
Sit tight here in just a minute. Are we going to have Hunter Mulligan on?
Yep, Hunter's we're going to call Hunter.
We're going to talk about the late rut that might be going on right now.
Yeah.
We're going to find out if Hunter has noticed any sign of that. That's next. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Do you know about our social network? Check out our Facebook page at Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show for outdoors news and some great educational videos. This segment presented by United Rentals, Cypress Knee Outdoors, and Bucks and Bulls Outfitters. Book your next big game hunting adventure by going to buckandbulls.com.
And don't forget now, starting January the 19th, running through the 21st, the Louisiana State Fair Boat Sport and RV Show there at the State Fairgrounds. Admission $6 for adults. The kids 12 and under get in free. The top RV and boat dealers in the area. And obviously, being the first part of the year, you know, all the new 2018s, all the new boats, everything's new. It's all going to be there. And it is a great time to buy a boat or an RV, new or previously owned, whichever way you decide your finances will let you go. They're going to have all the finance people there, lots of different finance plans. Yeah. Just a perfect time. Go to statefairoflouisiana.com to learn more about that. And, of course, the Boat Show Bass Tournament going to be that Saturday, January the 20th.
Yeah, I need to get Chris to come on next week.
Yes.
We need to get Chris on.
Chris Giordano needs to be on to talk about that next week.
I'll make a note to do that.
Talking to us this week about the late season rut, it's our buddy, Happy New Year, Hunter Mulligan, our Hooking Up and Tracking Down field reporter. Hunter, do you think it's all done? I mean, I've seen a lot of guys write on Facebook, all the deer are just nocturnal now, and I'm not seeing nothing, so I'm going to start fishing.
Well, Happy New Year to y'all, man. I can only speak for where I'm at, and I'm telling you, states have been open. I've seen deer after, seen bucks after those. Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I always had a bigger run over me, man. But anyway, I've last 4 days, I killed 2 real nice bucks, and one was after a doe, and one was just kind of trailing after a doe about 30 minutes afterwards. So I can only speak for where I hunt. A lot of people think it's over at Thanksgiving, but I've seen open scrapes in the woods, and I've seen the deer on the does.
Yeah.
I've seen this before. I mean, I've seen deer chasing does in March. So, I mean, this is not unusual to me because I'm in the woods a lot. So I just going to tell people, don't give up the last couple of weeks.
How bad does it hurt? How bad does it hurt to sit in a deer stand when it's 16 degrees?
Well, I tell you, Gary, I anticipated this on a tripod, and I killed a nice deer out of it on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I actually put a tent up on Saturday. I was putting that tent up in the edge of that thicket on Saturday, and I was actually in that tent when that weather was here, and I was talking. So I killed one with the tent and the tripod. So
wow,
crazy.
Now, when you say the tent, are you talking about one of those ground blinds?
Yeah, we'll pop up.
Ground blind. Yeah, I put a ground blind and kind of blended in what I had, put a little cover around it, and that's about a 30-yard shot. But it's thick in there where I'm at. Deer are going to move where they're tossful, and they're coming through those thickets. They're happy there, because they think nobody can see them. But this time of year, the leaves are off. Find a couple good trails, but what I found is good signs, buds, and some open scrapes. I had pretty good luck.
Well, Hunter, it's also a good time. There's probably less pressure going on in the woods right now, too. A lot of guys are done.
Yeah, no guys are done. Nobody's hunting. Right now, you got a food source for deer. They'd be at the corn.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Everything's gone.
Does Hunter Mulligan put out corn?
I do put out corn at the end of the season, but I haven't here. I put it out at this place after the season because I don't want to entice the hogs to come over where I'm at. So it's plenty thick and deer traveling through there, and I just don't want the hogs where I'm at. So no. I put it out after the season, let the deer get what they can get, the hogs get it. I did my best.
Hunter, I'm gonna ask you this question. You there?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
yeah.
I want to ask you this. It's maybe more of a Chris Nesbitt question, but I'm gonna ask you. You've done enough of this to know. This time of year, when you kill a buck, is he in better shape as far as table fare is concerned, or is he in better shape early in the season, coming off the summer, late fall? Is there a better time to kill one as far as the meat goes for itself?
Well, I think personally it's going to be better early in the year because they've been, they've been running does, and this one of these bucks I killed was he's a nice deer, but I could see his hip bones a little bit. He wasn't poor, but he was, you could tell he'd been weathered. Yeah. And he had some big scars on him where another had been beaten up on him. He had a bad spot on top of his back. So, I was going to kill one because early fall, acres in the fall, all the acres now are pretty much gone.
Right.
The only thing they get now is some honeysuckle and some blueberry and stuff. It's been in the understory that had the frost hadn't bit. They're browsing on there. I checked the stomach, and he had honeysuckle and, you know, some blueberry stuff and some green vegetation in there. You'll find that they've been browsing on. So, you know, but hey, I just, you know, late season deal. I mean, it's pretty late. I mean, I've killed them before it's late, but I actually could have killed 4.5. But I mean, I think you're going to kill $2.
Mm-hmm. That's
what
what
I guess.
You can be on Outdoor Outlaws. You go ahead and shoot off, you know, 4 or 5 of them.
And take a picture and put it on Facebook.
I've seen plenty of deer. I mean, you know.
Okay, I got 2 things. I got 2 things I want to cover with you real quick.
Okay.
Because you are in the woods so much. This year in Arcadia, where I hunt, we saw more bobcats this year than we've ever seen before.
Really?
Have you noticed more little predators like that, bobcats, foxes, you know, coyotes, anything? Because they've harvested so much timber in the last couple of years. And I'm thinking it has to do with all the understory that we've developed, all the cover.
Yeah.
Are you seeing?
You think about it. Yeah, I have. And I've heard other people say that too, Gary. Bobcats and coyotes. But when you cut and clip that places and they come back into vegetation like you're talking about, exactly right, there's good habitat for rabbits and, you know, stuff there after rats and mice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I saw,
you know,
4
ideal habitat for them.
I saw 4 grown bobcats, not a mama and 3 kittens. 4 grown bobcats cross my high line in single file, and I mean they were all good 35, 40-pound cats.
Huh?
Yeah. I've had people tell me that this year, and you're not the first one to say that, because I know a buddy of mine, he's seen 5 or 6 bobcats, and not as many coyotes, but he couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you can shoot those? I mean,
yeah, you can shoot 1.
Yeah,
you know, unless you're a licensed trapper. Then used to you had to have your trapping license to shoot 1.
Oh, really?
Now I think you're allowed 1, and unless you're a licensed trapper, then I don't know what the rules apply then.
Right.
Okay, here's the second part of my question. This year we had 2 separate deer shot on our lease that had already been shot by somebody else. Mm-hmm. One of them, the wound had just about healed, and the other one looked like it was a fresh one. In fact, at first, we thought that the deer had been involved in a fight and had gotten gouged, but when we opened the deer up, I mean, the bullet had gone through it, missed the bone. It was in the back leg. The bullet had missed the bone, and somehow or another, didn't go into the other ham. And I don't know if the leg was just extended out behind the deer and it was shot like that. But long and short, when you're seeing where other hunters have shot deer, how often do you think those deer might die later on, or especially if it's shot in the ham like that? What's the likelihood that deer will lose that leg? Or I know you're not a doctor, but you've seen a lot of this kind of stuff. Is that something?
Yeah, it's. I think, Gary, if the wound's bad enough, it can heal over. I mean, that's just like I said, that deer I killed the other day had a puncture wound in the top of his back, probably from a horn, and it healed over. But as long as it doesn't get infected, get stuff in it, I think they'll make it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? As long as it don't affect their ability to eat and get around, I mean, I've seen deer hopping through the woods just like you have with part of a leg. And it heals over. But as long as they can eat and get around, I think they'll be fine. But, if you shot them in the gut, that's a little different.
Yeah.
That's a muscle wound, I would think. I'm just thinking because you're going to have, especially if it's down low, it's going to keep kind of, stuff come out because of gravity. But, just a meat wound like that that went through and didn't get infected, I think they'd be fine. And it could affect them, walking a little bit. As long as they get around and eat, that's what I would think.
It was just the weirdest thing in the world that the deer wasn't dragging the leg. In fact, the guy that killed the deer said the deer wasn't favoring or anything. And we knew that no one else had shot those deer on our lease. And so, we had to assume that it was on the lease right next to ours. And
I found deer with bird shot in their butt. When you skin them, they'd be caught a bird shot when somebody shot them, not bird shot, squirrel shot. Somebody squirrel hunt shot them, on the hams. And I mean, just be little pellets all in the rear end. But I mean, it happens. But they're better to tough.
Well, overall, what grade on a report card would you give this year's deer season?
I think it's been pretty phenomenal from what I'm hearing. I mean, people just I talked to the guy the other day at Providence. I was taking the deer process, and I'm just going by what I hear about. He said he won in a 12-hour period. He got 130 something deer in.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had people lined up.
Bellevue
I
Meat
mean,
Processing
I
said they
think
saw
it's been good.
25% more business this year. In fact, it's a good time to mention that if you still got deer that are frozen, or if you'll just wait, if you do take one now,
Hunter's got one on ice.
if you will wait until February the 1st to take it to Bellevue, they'll give you a
Yep.
15% discount on that.
Yep.
Hunter Mulligan,
Yeah.
thank you, brother. Happy New Year again.
Thank you, Doug.
Well, Happy New Year to y'all, man. So, y'all are welcome, man. And good luck in 2018. I hope y'all have a nice year.
Amen.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Our
Take care.
hooking
All
up
right.
tracking down field reporter Hunter Mulligan, the man in the woods. And here in just a minute, we're going to have the man on the water, Elite Series pro Boyd Duckett. You've been wanting to hear what somebody like Boyd Duckett does this time of the year. We'll find out. Hooking up and tracking down, 11:30, the Tiger.
Country boy.
All right, here comes another hour of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Despino and Jim's Big South Tire, the Red River Waterway Commission, Commercial Power Equipment, and Stingray Line Cutter. The last line cutter you'll ever need. Go to stingraylinecutter.com and order yours now. Now back to the best outdoor show on the radio with Gary McCoy and Steve Graff.
Of course, Mike Eccles is out today. He is gathering up his duck decoys on Lake Bistineau. If you've got a duck blind or duck decoys on Bistineau, this is something you might want to consider. Mike says the lake is rising hard, really fast, and his decoys are disappearing under the water.
Yeah.
So you might need to, especially if your blind is hard fastened to something, you don't have enough slack in the line or something like that, and you like that duck blind. You might want to go loosen the rope on it.
Yeah, you might want to go tend to your blind a little bit and check on things. But again, I'm just trying to figure out where is the darn water coming from. It must have had some rain in Arkansas.
Because we hadn't had that much here. I mean, not enough to make the lake rise.
No, not Bistineau.
Hey, Bellevue Meat Processing. We got to tell you how wonderful Chris and Carla Nesbitt are. They're always looking for better ways and better techniques, and it seems like every year Chris will always bring back something, whether it's a new recipe on sausage. This year, what was it? The sweet and spicy
pineapple.
Yes,
pineapple, sweet and spicy.
Yeah, something like
hot
that.
And pineapple, hot and pineapple sweet or something.
Yeah, hot and sweet.
We'll figure it out,
dude. Let me just tell you what.
It's got pineapple in it. I know
every
that.
year, it just gets better and better and better. In fact, this year, it got so good it almost got out of control. A 25% increase on an already huge processing plant is a lot of deer. And I know that at opening day, I think Chris was telling me that normally, on a good Saturday, they do like 175 deer.
Yeah.
I think opening day they had just under 280 deer.
That is insane.
That one day.
Yeah.
And then followed it up the next Saturday with almost that same number. Because of that, they're asking you that if you've got deer that you quartered up, if you'll wait until February the 1st to bring those deer in, then Bellevue will give you a 15% discount on your processing. So that's something to consider unless you're just out of deer and you need one right now. Obviously, they're still taking deer. They're in their regular hours until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
Probably still on winter hours.
Yeah,
now, I think
but and they'll do that, I'm sure, through bow season.
Right.
With over 20 years of custom processing, they give you a great selection of sausages, Italian, smoked, summer, great snack sticks. That's like a crowd pleaser at my house.
no doubt.
And if you want to learn more about it, just go to BellevueMeat.com, or you can check out their Facebook page. Okay, we've been promising you that we were going to talk to Boyd Duckett, and we got him on the phone. Elite Series Pro, Boyd Duckett. Boyd, first off, Happy New Year, brother. I know that 2018 is going to be the year that you wanted it to be.
Man, I hope so. Fun thing about the new year is we always get a chance to get excited about good things to come.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
It's so much nicer to look forward to it than have that 20/20 hindsight when it's all done and go, well, I should have done this. And I should have done that.
Yeah.
Because
That's
right
right.
now everybody's winning right now.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's right. Yep, we're all tied for the lead.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because you've been a leader, a winner, a competitor in both BASS and in Major League. And I hear regularly on Major League, how the process is so much different than if you were fishing a BASS tournament. And I got to call bull a little bit on that, in that, the process is a lot shorter. It's a more, you're walking into a complete situation where you have no information, you have no nothing. You've got to hit the ground running.
You got to find them now.
You got to find them right now. But in the goal still, put that first 5 fish in the boat. Obviously you want to catch 25 or 45 in Major League, but in the goal still, I got to catch fish.
Well, you do. You have to catch fish, but it is very different the way we approach it. And I guess in the standard type tournaments like bass and then FLW and all of our my history in bass fishing, we always fish for 5. So you make adjustments based on the heaviest 5. So I may find a school of 1.5-pounders in practice for an elite tournament, and I'll never go to them. So there's a lot of patterns that just get crossed off because it's not enough weight to matter.
Right.
Whereas in Major League Fishing, wow, man, if you can discover that numbers pattern, how good that is, and then throw in a couple of good ones. So the approach is very different because of the format. The fact that every fish counts kind of changes the game. You can't save yourself with a big bite. They help you move up the leaderboard.
Right.
But the key to Major League Fishing is you have to develop the pattern. It's not about a hole. It's not about a big fish. It's about developing the pattern that day better than the rest of the field.
Well, until you start catching those fish, in Major League, are you still? Are you searching out different techniques? Just like you would be if it was first practice day in an elite tournament?
It is. Yes, that part is correct. You are going through the exact process that we go through by trying to catch them. The only difference would be I'm not as focused on bigger fish bite in Major League Fishing as I am getting bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because in Major League Fishing, and you I'm sure like everybody watch plenty of the shows, you have to get on them quicker because you can't catch up. You get far enough behind, man, you're just out. You just you got to score some points while you're looking. You got to get those scattered fish while you're looking, and it just seems like it lasts an hour and a half. I mean, we actually fish 3 2.5-hour periods.
Right.
But it goes by in about 15 minutes, man. It's just, especially if you're not catching them.
What's amazing to me, Boyd, I record it, I watch it religiously, and I'll even watch them over again. Is what's amazing to me is that Todd, Lord, I'm just totally drawing a blank. But anyway, what amazes me is that certain fishermen are known for certain styles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some are flippers, some are deep water guys, some are drop shot like Aaron Martin's. Everybody, it always amazes me when they put the camera on another angler. Oh, Martin's, he's probably out there drop shot.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not drop shotting. He's something else. And or so and so. God, I can't think of Todd's name from Texas.
Castledine.
Faircloth.
Faircloth. Sure, yeah.
You got Faircloth, who's known to be a flipper, and they own grass with Grass Lakes. Everybody thinks, oh, he's flipping. Todd's probably flipping grass, you know.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's doing something. So what amazes me is these guys, their flexibility to adjust just to try to figure out not how to catch a big one, just how to catch fish, period.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, that's one of the things that's funny to me too, because even at the bass events, or you know, if you go to a classic show, or if I do a boat show during the wintertime, you do hear a lot of comments from fans about you know, all the different, you know, Terry Scroggins with big weight or Faircloth, and then your finesse guys like Zaldane and Aaron Martin and those guys. You know, they all want to put a label on these pros, and you know, I've fished, you know, I've tournament fished at least at a regional level since I was a teenager. It's been a long time, and that has changed so much. You know, I can tell you in the Elite Series, there's not anything those guys can't catch them on. Right. So it's not like, you know, and Van Dam's got to be throwing a jerkbait or a crankbait. Listen, he's won a lot of money flipping, pitching. I mean, he can do other things. You know, don't think he can't catch them.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's generally not what you think they're doing. You know, a lot of times it's funny.
Now, boy, during the off season, do you do things like that? Do you go fishing and say you're not a drop shotter? Do you go out and say, okay, I'm just going to throw nothing but a drop shot. I'm going to learn how to do this today, or whatever new technique that maybe. Do you do that in off season? Is that what most of these guys do on their downtime?
Yeah, I think that I certainly have. You know, the past the past 10 or 15 years of bass fishing, when the tour started expanding, it's no longer a southern sport. We're in the north all the time now. We're out west, you know, middle part of the country. I mean, we're everywhere. And so versatility. Another thing that changed too is what our point system means to us.
Right.
You have Angler of the Year race. You have Making the Classic, which from a sponsorship perspective, and most of our guys making a living, that's become a must.
Right.
And so you have, and then of course requalifying, and then qualifying for postseason events, and you know, qualifying for just everything's built around a point system now. So the guys don't have the flexibility to go try to fish their strength and risk it.
Right.
You have to catch them at every event now.
Yeah.
And so it's forced guys to be more versatile. And yes, I do that during the off limits. One of the reasons I moved to Gunnersville, Alabama, was not just for the fabulous Gunnersville grass fishing and Tennessee River ledge fishing, but I'm 45 minutes from Lake Smith Lake, deep Clearwater Lake, 6-pound line, 8-pound line, drop shot, all those techniques. And then I'm about 45 minutes from the Coosa River over at Gadsden, Alabama, at Neely Henry, which is stained river, you know, straight-up river fishing.
Right.
So within 45 minutes of me, I've got most techniques I can work on and practice, and I do that. I work a lot on techniques during the off-season that I'm not as good at.
Yeah.
Is there a technique that you refuse to fish? I don't care if they're all biting that Ned rig. I'm just going to wait.
I ain't picking up the fair one. Yeah.
Chance. No chance. I have no pride.
Okay.
Well, you can't afford to anymore, can you?
I can't afford it, man. If you're out there, if you're out on a ledge and you were all geared up to catch them on 12-inch spoons and 25-foot running crankbaits, the guy beside you is smoking you with a Ned rig, you better dig one out, pal.
Exactly.
You better dig one out.
Hey, another thing, too, you said 2 words a while ago, game changer. Well, let's talk about the game changer for BASS, the no information rule, Boyd. What is that going to do to the Elite Series guys?
Man, and that is a game changer. It's interesting you'd recognize that, because that's one of the biggest impact rules we've had maybe since I've fished the Elite Series. And it's interesting because, with the advent of Major League Fishing and the way we fish with absolutely no information, most people, almost no anglers do what we do at Major League Fishing. I'm not dodging this question. I'm pointing out the fact that it really is different when you have no information whatsoever. We can't have public information. We can't look at the water. We can't look at a map. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
So when I really believe bass, because bass has always, Trip Weldon and that tournament team, they are full of pride to have the highest level of bass fishing, and to try a way to make it fair. The elimination of co-anglers was no throwback against co-anglers. Most all of us love to fish with somebody, and but it was to try to do all of the things to make professional bass fishing be just that, professional, using the word professional, not influenced by outside influence. And so that's what this rule is about. This rule is about not making it so that I'm competing with your contacts. I'm competing with you.
Yeah.
So we don't get ever now, and this is a game changer, man. It doesn't matter who I know at Kentucky Lake, because I can never talk to them again about a tournament coming there.
And you said no public information either?
No, that's only at Major League
Fishing. Okay,
no,
gotcha.
At Bass. Yeah. But it's even. The key here is an even playing field. And we can all look at the internet. We can all study maps. What we can't all do, Sam Lashley is a well-known, very best angler, ledge fisherman at Kentucky Lake. Definitely one of the top guys on the Tennessee River. He's on my pro staff at Duckett Fishing. I can call Sam and ask Sam where the fish are. Well, if you're a rookie coming into the Elite Series, you don't have that advantage.
Right.
All right, that's not fair, and that's what the Bass Tournament staff is trying to level. And I'm all for it. I'm all for everything that makes our sport as pure as possible, and I'm very proud of that rule, and I'm in full support of it.
Will somebody in 2018 violate this rule and be caught?
Yes.
Boyd, your opinion?
It's going to be a really hard rule to get used to. And by angler request, another thing Bass does, and I'm proud I'm part of it, they have an elite advisory board. I'm on that elite advisory board. Bass spends a lot of time and effort to meet with the anglers, to respond to what's important to us, and keeps us, at the management table, so to speak, with them on guiding rules and things that affect the anglers. It's angler driven. These polygraphs that Bass takes, that's an angler requested process. Mm-hmm. And if it happens, they'll, we don't do every guy, but after 12 events of the season, you're doing 4 or 5 guys per event. You're getting 50, and it's random. So maybe you get 40. Some guys get it twice, but you can't escape that chance that's coming to you. And it may happen, and it may happen not intentionally.
Exactly.
But and that'll be up to the discretion of the Bass team, Tripp specifically. And Tripp's not trying to ruin anybody's career. He's just trying to make this sport be even.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure that it'll be taken into consideration, because the guy's going to get information he didn't mean to get. Now, you have an out. If I'm we're fishing Lake Martin. And if I'm up here at a gas station, and many people that know me, hey man, those spots are in 40 feet of water on Lake Martin. I mean, you're going to hear that, and then it's our responsibility to take that information to the tournament director immediately, send an email, make a phone call, and then if Tripp feels like I have an advantage, he'll share that with the whole group at the meeting.
Yeah,
and so that's your way out. So if you get something now. If you keep that little nugget of information, you're going to get disqualified.
And it's the deal is, do you act on that information? Isn't that the key? Do you act on it? You can have the information, but if you don't act on it.
What if you were going to fish, spots in 40 feet of water anyway?
Yeah, that's true.
if it has no effect on you and you don't feel guilty about it, then you'll pass the polygraph.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
See, a polygraph only responds to your emotions. And if you respond negatively, it's because you know it helped. Now, as professional anglers or non-professional anglers, it doesn't take a whole lot of us for us to get a nugget, especially at the pro level. We have made a living and spent a lifetime observing little tiny things that are game changers for us.
Yeah.
So a little bit of information could go a long way. I only get 2.5 days of practice, and if I get about two people tell me that all the weight's coming out of 40, that saves me a day of practice.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me to focus on. I don't have to know where. I just I eliminate all that shallow water.
Right.
That's a big advantage, and you'll know you got it, and you won't pass the polygraph.
What stop on the Elite Series are you the most excited about this year?
I'm always excited. I've fished so long. I enjoy going to new places. That's one, and so the fact that bass has started to stretch out and take us beyond a lot of the standards. I like fishing the Sabine River. I've had good events there. It's extremely challenging, and it's kind of fresh and new. This year, we'll fish Texas only.
Yeah.
Well, the 2 times we've been to the Sabine, 80% of the field has fished Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a brand new tournament. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. I'm also looking forward to Martin because I fished over there a good bit in the '90s, fishing open, the big opens that they had out there, and I'm looking forward to that one as well. But when you get beyond that, Travis, I've never fished a tournament there. Most of the guys haven't. We're going to Ohe, if I'm even saying that right, the big lake in South Dakota. Never seen that one before.
Have you ever been to South Dakota?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have actually been through South Dakota on a driving vacation trip, but it was to look at the Badlands and the attractions. I've never seen that giant lake. Now I have done my research, and that lake is, and I understand, if I'm saying this correctly, that it's the largest man-made impoundment in the United States.
Wow. I thought Lake Mead was. Wow.
Huh.
Well, I did too, but I read that somewhere or saw that somewhere. Somebody might want to double check that. But if you look at it runs runs through most of South Dakota and about halfway through North Dakota.
Wow.
You can run 2 tanks of fuel out on that lake.
Good gosh.
I wonder if a lake like that right now, with the weather we've been having, I wonder if that lake is frozen completely over, and how long it takes for it to thaw out.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know it's cold up there. I look at the weather generally every morning. All of us that fish and hunt, we just all look at the weather. But yeah, it's cold. It's -5 and -6, and I'm sure there's ice over that thing. I don't know if it freezes completely over or not with the depth.
Well, Boyd, I'm going to tell you, you single-handedly have handed us so many great additions into the field of bass fishing through your line of rods and all of the incredible information that you've put out there.
Boyd's one of the guys behind the Major League Fishing.
Exactly, and that's where I was headed with this. But probably the greatest thing that you've handed us entertainment-wise has been Major League Fishing, and I want you to understand how much we appreciate you. Hey, and I know Red River has been good to you. So
yeah, Red River's good to me, man. I love fishing those Louisiana waters. It's if you don't live there and you're not used to cypress trees and bayou colored water and that environment, it's one of the coolest places in the world to travel because it's different. It's so different than everywhere else we go.
Yep.
And everything you look at looks fishy, man. It's just a fun place to go fish.
Well, Boyd Duckett, thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah, man.
And we are looking forward to all of what MLB holds for this year and all of what you've got for us with the Elite Series. And, brother, just we want you to set them on fire.
Man, I look forward to a great season and sure appreciate you guys. You got a great show, and thanks for letting me be on it.
Thank you.
Boyd Duckett. Crockett from the Elite Series and Major League Fishing. I'm going to tell you right now, just without a shadow of a doubt, one of the classiest guys that you could ever want to be around.
Yep, boy's first class.
And here in just a minute, we're going to talk a little
new segment.
A brand new segment.
Yep.
This is What's Up With This? That's hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tigers.
Thank God he made me.
This is where I get to brag on Topwater.
That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, we are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger, and we right here at the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show want to thank our great producer, Jay Watley.
Say it again.
Jay Watley, thank you.
And his grandma Nana.
Yeah, and Nana's listening.
Nana.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday. Yep.
Nana's there. But he pushes all the right buttons, makes this show possible. He actually gets to call all of our guests and does all of these things every week with a great attitude and as efficiently and professionally as he can be done. Hey, this segment brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoor Supercenter, Groove Fishing, Seagar Fishing Line, and Rayburn Country Resort on an East Texas community and golf destination at Lake Sam Rayburn. Come for the weekend, stay for a lifetime. Book your next getaway at RayburnCountryResort.com.
There you go. Great place to stay. I'll be there this weekend.
What's up with this?
What's up with this? Listen to this one.
What's up with this?
Judge Jim Fallon of the 15th District Court sentenced a man caught poaching a deer. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Sentenced this man to spend weekends during hunting season in jail.
Oh, wow.
For the next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Every weekend.
So he gets out Monday through Friday, but the weekend he's got to go sit in jail.
Friday afternoon, he's got to head for the jail.
You know what would be worse? If he made him wear camo and an orange vest while he was in jail. That'd be worse.
That would be good. John Walker, I guess it's Drennan. Is that how you pronounce that, Gary? Drinnon?
I'm going to take your word for it.
34 of Whitesboro, Texas, was convicted of poaching a 19-point whitetail buck.
Holy crap.
With a rifle in Grayson County, an archery-only county on private property.
Hey, if you're going to break the law,
state jail.
19-pointer walks out?
Yeah. Listen to the restitution he's got to pay.
Okay.
$18,000.
Oh, wow. Wow.
For shooting this deer. And he loses his hunting privileges for 5 years. And he has to spend the next 5 years every weekend of hunting season in jail. Good gosh. That's the harshest sentence I've ever heard.
They say the value of the fine was determined through the deer's Boone and Crockett score. It scored 202.
Yeah.
Giving it an estimated value of $18,048. Boone and Crockett scores were developed by the Boone and Crockett Club, used to compare trophy animals. Fallon also prohibited Drennan from purchasing a hunting license while on probation. I wonder if they put like a flag on there that says, "Hey, you know, you know, if it comes up,
if he tries to buy a license, his name does pop up." Yeah,
it wouldn't matter. I mean, he's got a license. I guess. Well, he couldn't hunt Monday through Friday. He's got to go to jail Saturday and Sunday every weekend during hunting season for the next 5 years. That's creative.
It is creative, and it's harsh.
And I'm going to tell you, that's what's wrong with our courts today.
Yeah.
I give props to my brother-in-law, Mike Craig, who is a judge in Bossier and Webster Parish. He gets creative on these things.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids. You can't punish each one of your kids the same way.
No, that's right.
Because one of them is like, come on, just bring that whooping on.
One of them's harder headed than the other.
You know, I'll take the whooping, and then I'm going to get a...
Other one you can look at.
Yeah, exactly, and just crush them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the third one that, you know, you've got to find what's
you wonder
most
if it's your
important
child.
You're pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, it can't be my kid.
Yeah. But that third one, you got to figure out what it is that's most important to them and take that away.
Yep.
And this is the definition of rehabilitation.
Yep, exactly.
Because obviously this guy had considered what he was going to do and weighed it out. Hey,
Right.
the punishment will be worth it. Had no idea that the punishment was going to cost him 5 years of hunting, and the sheer, I guess you'd say, humiliation of having to sit in jail on the weekends during hunting season, and not just not hunting, but in jail. During that time.
Now, do you think any of this might be revoked before the 5 years is up? Do you think a judge will say, "Okay, well, I think you've learned your lesson. You know, I'm gonna suspend the last 2 years."
That I don't know. I don't know how the prison system works, but I would assume that
you never been.
You know,
there?
there's no.
Okay, Eccles might know that answer.
But you know that there's probably people who are on the payroll to determine whether or not you've learned your lesson.
Right.
You know, they're involved in that rehab process. So I don't know.
He's probably got counselors he's got to deal with.
I don't know how parole works. You know, I mean, somebody does something, they get 30 years, and the next thing you know, 8 years later, they're out of prison. How'd that work?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That wasn't what they were sentenced to.
Yeah. Next one, conservation police officers. Well, hold on. Let me back up here. Well, I've lost my place here. What's the odds of that, Gary? Oh, here it is.
He never
Right
loses his place.
No, I've got it. USA, and I'm wondering what's up with this. USA Fishing Trails suspends tournaments for 2018. No tournament schedule for 2018 will be released by USA Fishing Trails, also home of Bass and Bucks and the Bud Light Tour.
So they're saying Bass and Bucks is a wrap for this year. There is no Bass
There
and
is
Bucks.
no trail for either one of these this year, and those are two big trails here in Toledo, Rayburn.
I wonder if that's a financial issue.
Over the last 9 years, we have had the absolute pleasure of meeting people from all across Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and many of you have become great personal friends. Chris and Charlie Davis said in an announcement, "This is not necessarily the end of USA Fishing Trails. In fact, our goal is to take a step back and determine how we can provide an even better experience for our members in the future." And they are the guys.
Is Bass and Bucks, is that the Skeeter Trail?
No, Legends. Legends has been bought out. Their Legends boat will no longer exist. So I'm wondering if that's got something to do with
Who
it.
bought Legends?
Ranger.
So they just bought it to kill it?
I don't know. I just know that I heard the other day there's no Legends boats going to be produced in 2018. They've killed it. I think Ben might have told me that.
Huh.
Yep. So that's their boat sponsor.
Okay.
So that has something to do with it.
Which one is the Skeeter tournaments? The
Oh,
ones that Fishburne does? Can't
Bass
remember.
Champs.
Bass Champs.
Bass
Okay.
Champs. Yep.
So no Bass and Bucks.
No
this
Bass
year.
and Bucks.
But and what was the
And
other
no Bud
one?
Light Tour.
Bud Light Tour.
Those were two popular trails.
As the Bud Light Tour, was that a singles tour or a team tour?
It's team couples. They have different things. Team, couples.
Okay.
It's not a pro-am, I don't think.
Yeah.
Bass and Bucks was a team deal. You know what I'm starting to see, though, especially the Texas Tournament Trail, the Triple T.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, they'll average 400 boats a tournament.
Holy cow.
It is insanity.
Really?
Yeah. Bass Champs.
Do they segregate
350 a tournament.
Do they segregate that? I mean, is there like an East Texas tournament trail, a West
Oh,
Texas tournament? Okay.
Yeah, it's different. But they'll draw 350 to 400 boats, just like Bass Champs does.
Wow.
So is there too many? That's always been my question. Are there too many trails? Can they all survive? I think this is living proof. Maybe they can't all survive. You can't fish every weekend.
I wish Eccles was here because Boss has risen every year.
What makes Boss so good, besides the support and a director like Mike Eccles, I'll toot his own horn. I don't mind. He ain't here. I can talk all I want to about you, Mike. Take that, big boy. Now, it's you and I both know Don McCutcheon had a following in this area
Yeah.
because of the way he ran tournaments.
Yeah, and because he's Don McCutcheon.
And he's Don McCutcheon.
Yeah.
Mike Eccles has developed the same reputation as a tournament director. People will know he's going to enforce the rules
Right.
as best he can.
Yeah,
And you've got great sponsorship with Bayou Outdoor.
without a doubt.
They are well behind this thing. They're giving boats away.
Mm-hmm.
It is I'm telling you, I've always wondered, and if we'd had Mark McQuaw from the FLW on today, the question he has asked me, Steve, why won't the Shreveport guys, Bossier, North Louisiana guys, why won't they come fish the FLW tour with the BFLs and the coast? Why won't they come? And there are a handful of guys up here that will do it, and they're very successful.
Mm-hmm.
I said they don't have to.
Because of Boss.
You've got Boss, and you've got the other tournament trail.
The Little Poor Man Tournament.
And what's the other dealer in town?
Yeah. The Skeeter dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, H&W.
H&W, Tournament Trail. Both of those are great trails. They don't have to go nowhere.
Right.
It's in their backyard. They don't have to go way off to go fish somewhere. So that's why I think they don't go fish a lot of the individual tournaments, because the team trail is so strong in this market, and they're very successful with it. So
Speaking of Mike and Boss, Mike texted a few minutes ago. Evidently, he's found some of his decoys. He wanted us to know that the boat show entry forms will be at Bayou Outdoors tomorrow.
Oh, okay, good.
So if you want to fish the Louisiana State Fair Boat Show Tournament, January the 20th, those entry forms will be at Bayou Outdoors tomorrow. You can go by and get one then. And you know, like you said, tooting his horn, Mike every year is faced with a different dilemma.
Oh, man.
You know, last year...
I don't want to be Mike.
No. Last year it was the Salvinia.
Yeah.
And that brought on fishing two different lakes. Well, that in itself brought on an issue because of the fact that there might be some law that won't allow a tournament to be held on multiple lakes like that, with all the fish being released into one lake.
Transporting the fish. Right.
And so, you know, it could be the end of something like the boat show tournament or fishing, you know, some of the other tournaments where it's a scramble.
Yeah.
You know, those days might be over. So Mike's constantly not only in the mix with all the anglers, but he's in the mix with the marina owners, he's in the mix with the sponsors, and he's in the mix with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries.
I want to take this time, because I fished some of these up here in the past. I'm not committed to them like I am with FLW, and I fish off with the single individual stuff. I want to encourage these guys locally, be open-minded.
Amen.
This year.
You bet.
Because of the situation that Mike is up against.
Oh, dude.
Don't be ringing his phone with all these great ideas that you don't know how to implement in the first place. So, you know, let him do his job, and he'll make it as best as he going. The one thing I'll say of Mike, he's fair.
Yo, without
he's not in it. If me or you are fishing, he could care less what we think.
Right.
Even though we're best friends with the guy.
Yeah.
He don't care what we think.
Right.
He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to try to do what's fair for everybody.
And that's the big thing is that, you know, there's no way you're going to make everybody happy.
No.
But can you make it an even playing field for everybody?
Right.
Is it going to be beneficial to everybody?
Right.
And that's the ultimate deal.
Nobody will ever be all happy. Nobody.
Exactly.
No, it's not going to happen.
We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
To the break of day. To the break of day.
you're just tuning us in and missed the portion of today's show, don't worry. You can tune in Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 right here on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Bash Cash Bash, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend and Natchitoches Ford, where the 2018s have hit the ground and are ready to move. So make the short drive to the oldest dealer in the Louisiana Purchase, Natchitoches Ford. Once again, here's Gary and Steve.
Also, Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the 2018 Ford pickup truck.
Oldest dealer in the Louisiana Purchase.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
And that goes to South Dakota.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Isn't that crazy?
Golly.
I worked in that dealership in the off season at Natchitoches Ford. It was downtown on the riverbank.
Yeah.
And where some of the offices were, those were horse stalls.
Wow.
Oh, it's great history. I loved working in that place just because of the history of this place. The first Model T was sold in Louisiana Purchase out of that location there at Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Did you meet Sally Fields and Dolly Parton while you were there?
Matter of fact, we did see them.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Do I know my stuff or what?
They took over the town. All right. Also, talking about taking over, K2 Coolers is taking over. The cooler market, Louisiana-made product that's a real cooler at a real affordable price. You know, yeah, there's other brands out there, and you're going to pay for them puppies. But with a K2, it's the priced right. It's great size. It's convenient for tailgating, hunting trips, fishing, family getaways, whatever. Great gift idea. Go to Paul's Farm and Garden on North Market in Shreveport and go to K2Coolers.com to see the entire selection. And starting today, we're doing another K2 Cooler promotion, a giveaway. So make sure you go
on our Facebook page?
On our Facebook page.
Okay.
Make sure you go to our Facebook page and make sure you share, comment, and share. And
the other one wasn't very popular.
No, at all. Reached out to 72,000 people, 970-something shares. It was incredible. So we're hoping this one's just as effective, and but we do appreciate each and every one of you for participating in those product giveaways that we're doing.
I'm going to tell you what, the K2 cooler, I got the one with the wheels on it.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Dude, I'm telling you.
That's what Jay's got.
That thing is handy as pockets on blue jeans.
Man, I love that thing. When my roof flooded yesterday, we found the we were scrambling, and I called Casey. I said, just find the biggest, just go get the K2 cooler. We got nothing in the house that'll. So
it's all in the K2.
Yeah, so one of the leaks was handled.
Yeah,
completely.
There you go.
Your
K2
two
cooler, baby.
little girls were in the K2.
Yeah, they were in there. They came in. They said it's raining in the house. So get the K2 cooler out. It's good for anything.
Okay, I got a bone to pick.
Uh-oh.
And it's only.
Is this therapy for you, Gary?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Brantley Gilbert. My bread and butter is country music.
Right.
And I happen to be a Brantley Gilbert fan.
Yeah, he's great. Great singer. I like him.
And there are those that would have you believe that he is one of country music's biggest voices when it comes to gun ownership.
Right.
In fact, a lot of people don't realize this, but he's got this back tattoo, big old tattoo on his back of the Second Amendment that features two large pistols aimed downward, followed by the text of the amendment. I mean, that's how big he is. However, my son said something to another baseball player a long time ago, and I'll never forget as long as I live, and I don't get to brag on my kids enough, but my son looked at that boy, and the boy was doing something. It was the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth, and they were down a run or something like that, and my son felt like the other guy wasn't as focused as he ought to be.
Yeah.
And he looked at him, and he says, dude, just because you got a uniform doesn't make you a baseball player.
Oh, wow. That's pretty harsh. He hit him home.
Does that make a lot of sense, though?
Oh, yeah.
Just because you got a uniform doesn't make you a baseball player.
No, that's true.
Well, just because you got a tattoo on your back of the Second Amendment
right.
doesn't make you a baseball player.
Right.
Well, Brantley has been recently quizzed about his refusal to officially partner with NRA Country, which is the country music world that has embraced NRA membership.
So that's a separate organization?
Exactly. But
I didn't know
what it is country singers that are NRA members,
right,
and that promote the NRA and they promote the Second Amendment and they promote gun ownership
at their concerts. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say this: he says he told Rolling Stone Country that he has deliberately refrained from partnering with NRA Country, which is the specific country music outreach arm of the National Rifle Association. He says he's done this throughout his career, though he did play one concert for the organization. He states that he wants to remain his own man when it comes to these kinds of issues. And I'm quoting here, I don't want to draw the line from myself to any other organization to blur the lines with what my moral compass is. Adding, I'm not quite on board with everything that some people represent, so I do like to stand alone for that reason. Now, there are those that would say, hey, that's a great idea. I don't agree with everything.
Right.
Do you agree with everything with the Baptist Church?
No.
Are you still a member of the Baptist Church?
I'm a member of the Methodist Church.
Or Methodist
Methodists
Church.
tend to straddle the fence more than the Baptists.
Okay,
Baptists are one side or the other.
Okay, yeah. Well, do you believe, are you a member of the Methodist Church?
Yes.
You don't agree with everything with the Methodist
No.
Church. But you still tithe and give your donations to the Methodist Church.
Exactly.
And if they asked you to partner up, would you partner with the Methodist Church?
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm obligated to the Methodist Church. I'm committed to that.
You got to love them. My daddy always said, you got to love somebody, warts and all.
Yeah.
What the NRA is defending is gun ownership. Do I think that I would ever need a bump stock? No. I'll never need a bump stock.
Don't want one.
Do I need one of the attack-type rifles? No.
Yeah.
My Uncle Gary just bought one. He's got a 308. Loves it.
Yeah.
It's got the night scope on it and everything. He can shoot hogs with it.
Right.
That's what he got it for. Bought it at an auction. Does he need that? No. Did he want it? Yes. Will he ever use it for any other reason? Could he have bought that caliber in a traditional style rifle? Certainly.
Yep.
I don't need one now. Who knows? I might want one in 5 years.
Right. You want the option.
Exactly.
Right.
The thing that I'm trying to stress is that you have to buy into the fact that what they're representing, what the NRA represents, is the right.
Yeah.
Not the mandate, but the right to own that.
Right.
And I said this earlier in the show. Until law enforces what's already on the books, there's no need for additional legislation. There's no need to outlaw anything else until you take care of the problem that's already at hand,
right,
which is criminals with guns.
Yeah.
And we already have laws about that.
Right.
So why can't we take care of what we're saying? And so my bone to pick is with Brantley in that, if you are indeed a proponent of the Second Amendment, you got to take it all.
Yeah.
You've got to stand up for the NRA. You have to stand up for what that represents. You got to truly know that indeed, there's going to be parts of it that you don't like.
Yeah. A good example, the Bible.
Oh,
if you don't believe in the virgin birth, then the rest of it's irrelevant.
Exactly.
You can't pick and choose out there what you choose to believe is true or not true. You either believe the Bible or you don't.
I had a guy tell me, when you brought up the Bible, I had a guy tell me that he believed everything in the Bible, but he didn't believe that his God, a loving God, could ever send one of his children to hell. I said, so you don't believe in hell? And he said, no, I don't believe there's a hell. I said, then you don't believe the Bible.
Exactly.
Don't say you believe in the Bible, everything except.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the NRA,
right,
it doesn't matter to me whether he's a member or not.
Right.
I wish that he were. But don't come off touting that you're a huge proponent of the Second Amendment, and yet you don't want to partner with the NRA because that's the purpose of the NRA.
Do you think he's doing that to continue to maybe maintain a fan base that is anti-gun? It kind of leaves the door open a little bit.
Tim McGraw.
Is he appeasing?
Hello, Tim McGraw.
Thank you. Is he appeasing the masses from basically in exchange for money and continue to buy my records? That's what it sounds like to me.
Money will buy a whole lot of morals.
Yeah.
Money will buy a whole lot of dissuasion of your convictions. My thing is this, I don't make the NRA is not a sponsor of our program. The NRA has never cut me a check.
No.
But I understand what the NRA is doing. I understand that there are some lunatics within the NRA. There's lunatics within the Methodist Church.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But when it comes down to the sheer brass tacks of it all, if we don't as a country, stand up for that right to own firearms. That day is coming.
Yeah.
That vote is coming.
You're exactly right.
We're hooking up, tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Just say so.
The Get Up and Tracking Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Sperl Lures, K2 Coolers, and Gamakatsu Hooks, the hooks that put fish in the boat and anglers in the winner's circle. Also, don't forget that the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show airs again Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 here on 1130 The Tiger. Also, check out our website, HUTDshow.com, your resource for all things related to the great outdoors. One more time, here's Gary McCoy and Steve Graff.
And here's this week's K2 Cooler's best times to fish. This weekend is rated as very good on Friday, with Saturday and Sunday rated as fair. A warming trend creeps in this weekend after a brutally cold week. Friday will reach highs of 45 and a low of 27, but Saturday's highs will hit the 50-degree mark with a low of 40, and Sunday warms up even more with a high of 60 and a low of 51, with a slight chance of rain as well. I think rain does tend to move in Sunday and Monday of this next week. And the moon will decrease from 90% on Friday to 70%.
Was that another super moon we had the other night?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it was huge.
I was at my daughter's house. I walked outside. It was like it's daylight.
Yeah, God.
Somebody's got to put the sun down. I was like, what the heck? Best times are late afternoon this weekend. Friday, 2:20 to 5:20 p.m. with sunrise at 7:13, sunset at 5:22. Saturday, 3:13 to 6:13 p.m. with sunrise at 7:13, sunset at 5:23. And on Sunday, 4:03 to 7:03 p.m., sunrise at 7:13, sunset at 5:24. This has been your K2 Coolers best times to hunt or fish.
I gotta thank our buddy Billy Phipps. Billy said if anglers only knew how hard it was to find a tournament to fish back in the 80s or 90s, they'd know how good it is now. So quit whining and be thankful.
There you go.
Golly.
Yep. And, you know,
I remember those days.
And we've had some circuits that have come through this area. I'm trying to think. Does American Bass ring a bell with you? American Bass?
ABA?
I don't know if it was ABA. No, that's not it. Because ABA is legit. There was another one that came through this area.
Mm-hmm.
Billy probably knows. Somebody got caught cheating, and they didn't call him out. We actually know who the guy was. He got let into the tournament, and he shouldn't have been in the tournament. He had to qualify, and they let him in anyway.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
He won the tournament.
He's leading it on day one.
Yeah, and then
they go to him and say, "We need you to pull out and withdraw."
Yeah.
And he refused to do it. He took him to court. He said, "No, I'm not pulling out. You let me in, but you didn't qualify. You let me in. I went and fished. If I have to, I'll get an attorney." He didn't win the event, but he was close.
How did he do in court?
I don't remember exactly. I think they settled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought, because he called me, well, if I was fishing, I said, well, no, I didn't get in it. I didn't qualify. He's like, well, I got a letter. I'm going. I'm like, well, you didn't qualify. He still went anyway, and they let him in. But anyway, that's another story.
It makes you wonder, what goes on into putting on tournaments and things like that. There's so much, and for that, we truly are thankful for Mike Eccles and wish he could have been here this week. But if you missed out on the early part of the show, Mike's not here this week because he is he's on Lake Bistineau trying to get all of his decoys. Apparently, Lake Bistineau is on a big rise right now.
Yeah.
So if you're a current fisherman and you like Bistineau, this might be the time to go catch a big old string of fish.
And also, if you better start putting your name on the bottom of your decoys, because guys that do find them out there will call you and say, hey, I found some of your decoys.
Yeah.
If you find one, they're probably not going to call you, but if you find a bunch of them, they may accidentally call you and say, hey, I got a bunch of decoys here. You want them.
And our thoughts and prayers with the two kids of Dr. Tommy Brown.
Yes.
Don't forget now that Osborne this evening, the visitation starts at 4 o'clock, and the funeral is going to be tomorrow at First United Methodist Church downtown.
Yep. All right, here's the first year's final word. With a new year brings new resolutions that you probably won't keep for more than a couple of weeks, but that's okay. A new year also brings closure to a great 2017, or maybe it's one you would like to forget. During the span of a year, we go through so many emotional highs and lows, and some of these can be a challenge for each of us to get through. This is when we need great friends and family to help us get over our difficult times with love and support. But no matter what happens in 2018, we at the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show want to wish you a healthy and prosperous 2018. From Mike Eccles, Gary McCoy, Jay Watley, yours truly, Steve Graff. Happy New Year, and thank you for listening. Tune in next week for more Hooking Up and Tracking Down here on 1130 The Tiger.